Hi everyone, Charlotte here from New Zealand Shores. Today I'm jumping on with a much anticipated announcement. So yesterday the government announced that the Parent Boost visa is going to be available from the 29th of September 2025. So this is really exciting. We have been waiting for this for quite some time. And this is a game changer in the immigration space because this is the most flexible parent visa that we have ever seen to date. So today we've just got a little presentation about what the Parent Boost visa is and what some of the requirements are that you'll need to meet in order to be able to apply for that visa. So today we're going to go over what is the Parent Boost visa, what are the requirements, and what are the residency pathways available to my parents should they choose to proceed with that option. So the Parent Boost visa is a visitor visa, and a visitor means that your parents can't work while they are in New Zealand. However, this visa is slightly different in the sense that the first visa will be granted initially for a 5-year duration. It can be extended once for a further 5 years, which actually allows parents to be in New Zealand for a total of 10 years, which is amazing. In order to qualify, your child must be a New Zealand citizen or resident and living in New Zealand. So if you have a child who is a New Zealand citizen or resident but living elsewhere in the world, then you can't apply for this visa. It is purely a visa designed to reunite families and give parents the option to be here in New Zealand with their children for a longer period of time. You can include a partner in the application. So if you've been living in a genuine and stable relationship with your partner, you will be able to include them as well. However, please note this then does increase the financial requirements attached to this visa. Thresholds for 1 or 2 applicants do change. So applicants are going to have to meet health and character requirements, so they must be of an acceptable standard of health, and that is relevant to age. So Immigration New Zealand are not expecting these applicants to have the health of a 30-year-old, but they do have to be able to demonstrate that they are relatively well. And they must also be able to meet character requirements, which Immigration New Zealand have for all visa types regardless. There will be financial requirements attached to this application. So your child who is a sponsor will either need to be earning what we call median wage for one parent or 1.5 times the median wage for two parents. Now, this does change depending on the year we're in. At the moment, Immigration New Zealand are using $31.61 per hour as median wage, and $47.41 per hour as 1.5 times the median wage. However, they do review this annually, so it is important to check with the requirements at any given time when you're looking to apply for this visa. The other option that you can prove in order to show that you're able to support yourself, the applicant themselves must have an income which is equivalent to $32,611 per year. So that's in line with what a single person in New Zealand actually gets under the New Zealand superannuation scheme. And that then increases to $49,552.88 for a couple. So again, that's in line with what a couple would receive in New Zealand under our superannuation scheme. That income can come from a number of sources. Pensions are a really easy one initially. However, it could also be if you've got return on investments or if you've got rental properties returning an income or a business offshore. So there are various ways you can meet that income. The other option is that you have sufficient personal funds, such as in a bank account or an investment. So for a single applicant, that's $160,000, or for a couple, it's $250,000. You only have to meet one of these criteria, so you don't have to meet all three. So that's why you'll see we've got "or" in between the different bullet points. So don't feel like you have to meet all three to be able to be eligible. So the criteria is actually relatively flexible. Most applicants we see do actually have pensions which are at this level quite easily. The other requirement that is going to be really important to meet is an insurance requirement, and applicants must hold at least 1 year of health insurance that will cover emergency medical care up to 250,000 New Zealand dollars. You must also be able to cover repatriation, return of remains, and cancer treatment at a minimum of 100,000 New Zealand dollars. So these are going to be really important. You must maintain that insurance for the entire duration. Should you not maintain that insurance and you end up in hospital, for example, then the child who has sponsored you will become liable for that cost. If you haven't maintained that insurance and you go on to apply for further visas, so let's say you go on to apply for your second Parent Boost visa, or even you decide to apply for residence within that time frame, Immigration New Zealand will check that you have maintained that insurance for that entire 5-year period. And if you have not, it may actually stop you from going on to apply for further visas. Immigration New Zealand still maintain two residency pathways. So for parents, so we've still got the parent category. The parent category is based on the resident or citizen child and their income. So this income does change depending on how many parents are being sponsored, and they must be able to demonstrate that they can meet that income threshold for 2 out of the 3 years before they apply for that residency visa. The parent category is a ballot-based category, which means you submit an expression of interest into the ballot, and at present they are only withdrawing 500 people from that ballot per year. At present numbers, there's roughly about 12,000 parents sitting in that ballot. So it is quite a hard category to work through, and that number of people in that ballot will only increase over time. So this could be quite a hard one to meet throughout the long term. The other option we have for parents is the Parent Retirement Residency Visa. Now, the Parent Retirement Residency Visa is an investment-based visa and requires the applicant to have a total of 1.5 million New Zealand dollars that they have access to. A million of that must be invested into acceptable investments. The 500,000 is settlement funds and can just be retained in a personal bank account for use to settle in New Zealand. And they must have a guaranteed annual income of 60,000 per annum. So if you are applying with a partner, that guaranteed annual income can actually be spread across both applicants. So the financial requirements for this category can be met by 2 people and not just one. However, again, that threshold is quite high, so it can be quite hard to meet that financial threshold. The next step, if you're looking to engage with us for this process, is reach out to us. We can do an eligibility assessment on your situation to ensure that you are actually eligible to proceed with that Parent Boost visa. Once we have done that, we can then organise a personal consultation with one of our licensed advisors who will be able to chat through your situation and look at what the best options are for you. Once you're happy to proceed, we can then commence your migration process. So we've got our email address down here, info@newzealandshores.com. If you are interested, please do reach out to us. We'd be really excited to hear from you. We are already seeing a large number of inquiries coming through after the announcement yesterday, and we feel like this category is going to be really, really popular, which means that there's going to be a lot of people applying once that 29th of September 2005 rolls around. So please do make sure that you reach out if you're keen to get started as soon as possible. We know what the requirements are. We can start preparing you for your visa application to ensure that as soon as that 29th of September 2025 rolls around, we are ready to hit go. We're really excited for this, and we're really looking forward to hearing from you.